Hey girl, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to get this demon that eats children. I really wanted to do the shredded mouth look, so I thought what better than to do a demon that eats the souls of humans and hides in your closet. If you guys want to find out how I got this look, then keep watching. For prosthetics, I took a face cast. You can just use a flat surface if you'd like, but I used my face cast for proper measurement. And I took some modeling clay and started molding it down with my fingers in some water, as well as sculpting tools to get a nice smooth surface. For sharp cheekbones, I took some modeling clay and rolled it out like a snake and started blending that with my fingers and water to get a really smooth application. For the shredded mouth, I did zebra-like strikes and took the tip of the sculpting tool to create a fleshy, nasty, grotesque, gruesome-like mouth. I didn't want it to be a sunken-in hole effect. I wanted it to be like I had just eaten a human soul and that was like the remains in the mouth. I stippled on about 5 to 6 layers of liquid latex to give it a thick enough texture to where it would become a prosthetic, but not too thick to where I'd lose the texture of the mouth, but also keeping the edges thin so the blending process would be really easy. I'm then taking my NYX HD powder in SFP01 and just slowly removing the prosthetic. If you don't put any powder on, it'll stick to itself and you'll lose the prosthetic altogether, so make sure you powder it really well. I went ahead and painted the prosthetic off of my face so that it was easier when I applied it on my face and I wasn't missing any spots. I took a lilac water activated paint and brushed that all over, then took a deeper purple to kind of give it some depth. I also took a bright red and maroon in the gashes or the slashes as I like to call them. For shading, I took the deepest purple in the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette and also my NYX Primal color in Hot Black and started deepening up and giving a 3D effect to the mask. If you skip this step, it'll make the mask look really flat and not 3D, so make sure you're getting into every little crevice with the shading. To pull it all together, I went in with a black cream paint and then I set it aside to move on to the horns. For the horns, I took a piece of aluminum and wrapped a piece of newspaper inside it. I kept adding newspaper as I went along to get the length that I wanted to, but later on you'll realize that you'll need to cut it because it will probably be way too long. I began shaping it, but you'll notice that I'll shape it again later, and once you have one, go ahead and double it. I cut down a horn to the length that I thought I wanted and went ahead and measured it to the other one, started cutting that one, and started hot gluing it to my headband, but later on you'll notice I went back and cut it a little bit shorter. If you can see on the headband, I actually set them on the headband to measure where I wanted them to with a pencil and began hot gluing them to them. I began shaping them so that once I applied the hot glue it'll be a little bit easier. Then I took the hot glue in diagonal motions to give it a cornucopia effect. That's what I really wanted, and I started to get a little worried that it wasn't getting that effect, but once I spray painted it black, it was amazing. It was just awesome. So go ahead and hot glue it in a diagonal effect and you should get something like this. Go ahead and spray paint it black and you're ready to apply it to your wig. This is Shanice, my head, and this is Luna, my wig. I literally just named them right now. But I went ahead and wet my wig to mold it a lot better. I brushed some parts of the hair forward and applied my headband to the place that I would like it on the wig. I started brushing back pieces of the hair over the headband so that I could cover it. I did not want the headband showing and giving away the effect of horns coming out of my head. And I also shaped it to a nice style. There were some bald spots in the wig, so I took my NYX Primal color in Hot Black and went over them. And of course, like any obsessed girlfriend with makeup, I called my boyfriend to show him. See it? That looks dope, right?
Yeah, on the camera on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks pretty nice. For the moment you've all been waiting for, the application process. And yes, I'm wearing something. I wanted to start off with blocking out my eyebrows, and I got distracted by my egg head. And then I started mapping out the prosthetic on my face so I could see where I was going to apply the adhesive. I was using a NYX eyeliner in white. I don't know the name of it because it's now a nub. I used it several times over the week And then I realized we're gonna block out our brows. So I took some glue and blocked out my eyebrows. I started applying that to my eyebrows and taking a spoolie to lay the eyebrow hairs very flat. Then I did the same thing to the other side, repeated the process about 4 to 6 times. I applied my NYX Set It Don't Fret It in light medium to my eyebrows, then dusted off the excess. And I went straight back to mapping out my face, which I took the same white eyeliner and went over my eyes in the shape that I'd like. I had practiced this several times before, so I knew I wanted this mad look on my demon. I took an adhesive to my face, and I wouldn't recommend using like liquid latex or lash glue because it might not last as long as you'd like it to. So if you want it to last all night, then go ahead and apply an SFX adhesive. Once it's tacky, go ahead and apply your prosthetic. Although I wouldn't recommend wearing it when you first start out. I would start off with your chest piece because you can't eat or drink for a while, and that kind of sucks. On a side note, if you do want to eat or drink something, just cut the holes in the face mask. I didn't because I wasn't planning on wearing this for too long, but if I was going to go out, I would definitely cut holes in the slits of the mask. I took some liquid latex to blend out the edges, and while I was waiting for that to dry, I went out to mapping my body. So that's why I went in this order. I normally wouldn't have, but I wanted the latex to dry, which it fully did by the time I was ready to work on it. Once I'm done mapping it out, I took my NYX Be Gone wipes and wiped away anything I didn't like. Then I started taking my lilac water activated paint and applying that in the bone areas where I wanted my skeleton to be. Anything that was still bone but I wanted to have a more sunken in effect, I did it with a little bit of a deeper purple. For the hollow areas of my skeleton, I took a gel eyeliner from NYX and started applying that in the areas. If I wasn't too clean, it didn't really matter because I was going to go back in with my lilac color to clean everything up. I'm trying to work on my line work, but I also know that if I mess up, I could also go in with a different color over it to clean it up if I'd like. I then went over it with a black eyeshadow to give it a really nice, dark, deep, sunken in effect. And then I went over with some shading with the same deep purple, NYX hot black, and just started shading everything before I started doing a little bit more details. Shading is what's going to start to bring it to life. It's not going to be fully alive yet, but once you start shading, it's going to give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more 3D effect. And then once you go in with the details, it gives it more of that bada bing, bada boom, you are done. So here I'm doing some details on these tendons, as you will. And I just did a little bit of lines with the black and the dark purple from the NYX palette and the hot black. And I just went over the tendons as much as I wanted to. If I felt like it wasn't showing too much up on camera, I went up a little bit more on them and started applying them in the areas that I thought would be a little bit of a shadows or tendons or areas that looked like it was stretching, if that makes any sense to you guys. I also did it to make it look like my clavicle was really popping out and it was just really being stretched out, like I'm just like hungry for a soul, if you get me. I started deepening up the shoulder blade, but later on I went over, as you can tell right here, I went over to make it look like that part was sunking in a little bit more, to make it look like my shoulder was a little smaller, if that makes any sense to you guys. I didn't want my shoulder to be too broad, it was just too much blank space. I went over my face with the lilac water activated paint, then took my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Black Bean and started going in the areas that we mapped out on our eye. Started blending that in with a small brush and went over it with more Black Bean. Then I set it with more NYX Hot Black. I left the bottom area kind of like a halo eye. I know this isn't anatomically correct, but I just thought it looked so freaking cool on my eye. So I left the inside with the lilac on the bottom, as you can tell, with the halo eye. Then I started making my eyebrows look like they were mad. Like everything was just like anger up in their tension, like I'm hungry for some souls. I started shading my forehead so it didn't look too bare, and also shading the prosthetic with the hot black and the dark purple from the Ultimate palette. I also went in with some cream paints in the sides of the area where the prosthetic didn't reach, just to make it look like my mouth was just complete. And I went ahead and did a normal skeleton nose on my nose, even though it's a demon, I know. I just did a normal skeleton nose and also applied some liquid latex ears on my ears. Applied some lilac water activated paint. I shaded my ears as well to give them some depth. And this demon wants to be glam, so go ahead and apply some mascara and lashes. Don't forget to paint your claws black to make it look like you're ready to possess somebody. And that is it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please leave a like and comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.
And you a fool's gold. Yes, I did.